You're watching LMCC, your community TV.
The Naloxone absolutely saved my life. I always thought my way out was death, and I did, in a sense, die, but I've been brought back. So the deal is, life can happen. You don't have to die from this disease. And as long as Naloxone is available, everybody can get that second chance at life. My addiction started, I was about 13. So I started drinking a little bit with my friends, and what I found was that alcohol was much different in me than it was with my friends. It quickly became a part of my daily routine. I was pregnant with my son at 16. I was with some friends and they actually had methamphetamine. It literally just very quickly became my everything. I tried really hard to battle being a mom, doing the right thing for my son, at the same time having this horrible reality that I am absolutely compelled to alter my state of mind. Ultimately, what happened was the drugs won, the addiction won. I share that now because it's not only my story. It's many, many, many women's story out there. Just felt like I was completely restrained by heavy chains, by heavy weight. It was much stronger than myself. When I was actively using in the middle of my addiction, I didn't know about Naloxone. I had overdosed one night at a friend's house, but I was revived on scene.
911, where's your emergency?
I need an ambulance right away. My son just overdosed on heroin.
My brother passed away about 17 years ago, and I've watched this for the last 17 years get worse and worse and worse. In healthcare, the one thing that I wanted to or hoped to accomplish at some point in my career was that, I would sort of prevent that kind of pain for another family. The call that was most important to me, or the call that I truly absolutely wanted to go on, was a heroin overdose. As of July, I've actually reversed 38, and that's not even including my partner's calls, so you could probably double that number as an estimation. There's a hopelessness in that at times, but I feel comforted and hopeful when I, know that there's people out there like this who work for the Steve Rumler Hope Network, and paramedics who work at Hennepin County Medical Center, and the police officers and firefighters who are out there every day, doing what they can to save lives.
I was out patrolling and found a car stopped on the side of Highway 7 at about 3 in the morning. I walked up and the driver was passed out, and I couldn't get him to wake up. So I retrieved our Narcan kit, or Naloxone, and gave it to him just like the training, and it worked. He came around. We've had it about 2 years now. The interesting thing about it, I guess, is just how easy it is and how simple it is to have something like that can make such an impact.
There are very few things that we have on the ambulance that are, a true blue antidote. As far as medications go, it's a very benign medication and does a very specific thing, which is blocks the opioid response in the receptors in the brain. And I myself have given it in situations where, maybe I wasn't sure whether or not this was an opioid overdose, but, this was an unconscious patient with, unknown factors involved, and I've had absolutely no problem giving this medicine.
I feel so blessed every single day that not only do I get to be sober and alive, but I get to be a part of life. The Steve Rumler Hope Network, what we do is we offer Naloxone kits to anybody who needs them or wants them. We offer training.
So you find someone who's overdosed, what's the first thing you're going to do? Yep, try to wake them up really quick. If they're not responding, then we do the breaths. That's right, so you're gonna do 2 rescue breaths, 5 seconds apart, and then you're gonna quickly prepare your naloxone. So this is a muscle. Which 3 muscles or areas of the body can you inject into? Arm, thigh, and then upper buttocks, okay? So you do it directly into the muscle, you inject, and then you're good.
I get to be that person that shows that this is possible, that it is worth saving the life. It's worth using the Narcan. It's worth having the Narcan.
In the last few years, though, there is certainly more awareness that when we get a call of somebody who's unconscious, not only do we bring our bag valve mask and oxygen tank and defibrillator, but we grab the opiate kit too. The things that we look for, an unexplained reason for somebody to be passed out, and then check the pupil size. That's a classic sign. And then also look for paraphernalia around them, squares of tin foil. Of course, the classic sign is needles, but that's not always the case. And then look for, their history. If you know that this is something they've been doing, provide them with that rescue breathing, but get them the Narcan as soon as you can, or the Naloxone. That's not the end of the story. They still need to go to the emergency room because that Naloxone is going to wear off. Typically, I think 30 minutes to an hour, it wears off, and they could relapse into that situation that you found them in.
By me having Narcan on me when I'm in my addiction would not tell me, okay, I can use more today because I have Narcan. When you're active in your addiction, you're using as much as you can anyway because that's part of the disease.
We're absolutely not enabling addicts, and we are absolutely saving lives. If there is an increase in the use or the frequency of overdose, it's because that we're in the middle of an epidemic. It has nothing to do with Narcan. You take Narcan off the street, you take the antidote to opioid overdose off the street, all you're gonna have is more death. You want people to get sober, you want people to recover. A prerequisite for recovery is staying alive.
I unfortunately have people in my life. There's 2 people that I was close to that are no longer here today because naloxone wasn't available. If it takes 2 or 3 times for a person to overdose and get saved, then that's what it takes. But they find their way. I know so many people today who are sober and living an active life in their community and giving back because of naloxone.
We're trying to work ourselves out of a job here, right? So we're trying to have everyone in the state carry naloxone, and hopefully people will stop using. Hopefully this drug will get off of our streets and we won't be needed anymore. But until then, we are out there every week doing trainings.
This morning when I was leaving on my way here, my neighbor came downstairs and he came over to the car and he said, "Heather, you're not gonna believe this." He said, "You know that kit you gave me 2 weeks ago when you trained me?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I saved a life 2 nights ago." And the amazing best part about his life being saved is he went to treatment this morning. So I'm bringing him another kit today.